Like if you can get yourself to a stage where your expenses just to survive are 30% of your income, you have up to 70% to develop assets, to invest in your security, and then develop assets that are paid or matching your income, right? And that's just independence, where where you have like, you can actually make money as you're sleeping, So that's actually probably the next step. From security, you can now move into independence, right? Before you move into financial freedom, right? That's kind of the roadmap that I'm kind of thinking.
Yeah, because as soon as you also have that safety net, then you're taking a big chunk of that income every month towards something else, investments, maybe for some future property.
Yes.
These things, you're enabling yourself to start thinking about assets, right?
Yeah.
Things that are going to give you that future passive income.
But wait, Leigh, what's an asset?
An asset is something that actually pays you.
Right? Simple guys, right? And then what's a liability?
Something that takes money from you.
There we go. So if something's taking money from you, okay, I love this. So a lot of people talk about, okay, this will be another topic for the future. A lot of people say, I'm getting mortgage.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm going to live in my property. As soon as you're living in that property, that mortgage is not an asset.
No.
It's a liability, right? This is why you should actually read Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about this really well, right? That you're just dumping money into pay, or you're actually paying the bank, right? However, if someone else is paying that rent for you, now it's an asset, right? So just understanding those little details, is really powerful, really powerful. Trying to maximize your assets and limit your liabilities.
And look, that means that, for sure, maybe you still have to continue renting for a bit longer. Maybe you have to, as you said before, be a bit more humble and say, hey, you know what, rather than spending all this money on my own apartment, maybe I should go back to a flat share for a year.
Yeah.
Sometimes to get on top of things, you got to make these sacrifices, and it doesn't have to be forever. But this again comes down to sitting down and setting some goals of casting. They said like what you really want in the next 6 months, 5 years, 10 years.
Now let me ask you, Leigh, do you remember what you were doing three years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah? Really well?
23.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not much time, but it's gone already. Like you can't get that fast. Yeah. It goes about really fast. So if you make goals in period, people can't really think more than 3 months ahead. People can't think that. I can't think that sometimes, right? But I know that I need to have systems in place where I look at things in the next 5 years, right? In the next 10 years, because whatever you like, unless someone is created this like technology, you're not going to make the time machine go back, right? And change things, right? So you need to kind of think today, what do I want to achieve in my life? Or what type of lifestyle do I want to have in the next 5 years, 10 years, etc. Right? And start building accordingly for that. That's why goals are so important.
Yeah. And when we're talking about wealth and finance and things, there's no quick, rich schemes out there, right? This is patience, right? You need to, and really sitting down and setting some goals and forecasting helps this, so that you have a plan. So you don't expect too much in like the first 12 months or something.
And manage your expectation.
Yeah. You need to really plan and stick to it. Build these habits and stick to it. And it gets easier and easier.
Yeah. Anyone that's into fitness will recognize that when you go to the gym, you're not ripped. You don't have ripped abs yet. When you start going to the gym, it takes a lot of work, consistent work over a long period of time to achieve the type of body or life or like look that you're looking for. Right. The same thing with finances. The same thing with any consistent application and attitude, right, towards a specific goal will lead you to results. It's really simple, really, really simple. But it's not easy though. So recognize it's not easy, but it's simple though.
Yeah.
For sure. And so like with, so what does independence really, really mean in terms of financial independence? What does that mean to you?
Look, having already built some good habits, right?
Okay.
Keeping your expenses as low as possible, as you recommended, right? Even up to 50%. I think if you're able to keep all your expenses to 50% of your income, that's really good.
Yep.
Maybe 30%, like you said, is not really realistic for a lot of people unless you have high income, for sure.
Yep.
I would say that you have a good safety net. You have your savings there, your 6 months income or whatever saved. So that like when you were talking about if you lose your job, you don't have to stress. You don't have to go out and quickly find the next thing that comes to you. So don't end up in another job that you don't really like. Giving your time to find something that you really want.
Yeah.
You have no debt. And you're really starting to build some assets, right? Whether it doesn't have to be property or something, it can be some investments, right? Just that extra money that you have saved, you have your savings, and now that extra cash you can put somewhere so it's making more money for the future.
And from my perspective, like we were talking about before, assets. At this stage, once you achieve financial security, you have your savings, you have your emergency fund, you're limiting your liabilities, you're getting rid of debt, right? Independence is now actually trying to build assets to a level where the income is now matching your effort, right? The income is matching your efforts, right? So once you have that, once you have that kind of, once you reach that threshold, you can actually now say, I actually don't need a particular job. I don't need to rely on it.
Yeah.
Right. That's financial independence, So really have that passive income, or let's say ongoing income. And this is where you need to recognize the difference between trading time for money, right? Or leveraging other people's time or systems for money.
I think Warren Buffett he has a lot of good quotes. For one is, if you cannot find a way to make money while you're sleeping, you're going to be working until you die.
Boy, that's tough.
And that means finding a way to make money while you're sleeping, right? Investments or business, starting some business that makes money by utilizing other people, or there's so many options these days online, social media and YouTube, these kind of things. We all go just make money.
There's never been a time where you can actually make a lot of money by hardly actually investing a lot of capital in it. Yeah. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. So just recognize, actually, I'll even say this: when you're like delving into security, you should always be educating yourself. You should always be looking to see, how can I invest in my understanding, in my knowledge, right? How can I invest in mentors? How can I actually get some support or incentivize someone to support me on my goals, right? Because we can't do everything by ourselves, right? We're social beings,
Yeah.
We're not Americans, super independent. Okay, Americans, forgive me, man. I like you guys, right? Don't kill me, yeah? But we are social beings, so we need to we feel more at peace when we're part of a tribe or part of a community that is actually working to higher levels, right? And so sometimes if you're around people that are just kind of like wayward and very, unresponsible with their money, you might have to consider, if you want different outcomes, you might have to consider change your environment. Because environment dictates performance.
Yeah, you don't have people around that have bad habits that it's easy to sleep into. Yeah, sleep into. And you had a good point, mentors and things like this, right? Education is really important. There's a lot of books out there. We mentioned one before, Reach That Port Out, which is really good. So there's a lot out there. You can even on YouTube find these summaries.
Yep.
And then you work out which book is more for you and go and buy it, right?
Yeah.
And also think about YouTube and these things. There's so many experienced, knowledgeable people out there that are putting out free content, right?
Counts to us.
Yeah. If you don't, there's so many people out there that you can learn these things from.
Yeah.
But of course, as well, don't just follow one person. It's always good to listen to get a few different ideas, to compare, and then, everyone's different. You can work out what's best for you.
Yeah. And look, everyone believes that they're the king in their own castle, or they're the queen in their own castle, or they're the CEO of their own life, right? We all believe that. So just the same way that CEO and kings have dukes, advisors, etc., start to find people that can actually build a relationship with you, that can actually ask you the hard questions that you can actually learn from, because there's a lot of information out there. There is a lot of information out there. It can be very hard to know what to do with all that information, but there are very few people that are working with you to actually help you swim through that information, right? Help to manage that, understand, and actually build understanding, right? Because there's knowledge is great, but it's actually, and knowledge is power. That's what they say, right? I actually disagree. I would say applied knowledge is power, right? When you actually make mistakes, right? life will bring lessons and you make mistakes. That's cool. You can learn from it. But there's a higher level, right? Is learn from other people's mistakes, right? So you can, you could have knowledge. Oh, I know this. I can win a quiz, all that and stuff. That's great. If you don't have any experiences, then okay, right? But wisdom is where you're going to actually be able to leverage other people's mistakes and know that, okay, I can avoid that.
Yeah.
Right. So listen to stories,
Yeah, I was going to say, because we'll start wrapping up as well, that if we have some more tips and tricks, but I was going to say on that note, also looking at the past, present and future, right? Yeah, the past, your past mistakes you learn from, like you said, which is amazing. You can learn from other people's mistakes. It's